Well, Sarah, we're here to talk to you about the growth of the Sydney FC women's team. Just tell us a little bit about what you remember about the start of the W League as it was back then. What was that like?
It was before the US League really kicked off, so most of the Matildas were playing here, but we were playing for our states, whether it was the New South Wales Institute or the QAS. And so what you found is that most players just stayed in their state and then played for the local A-League club. And so what you ended up having was really jam-packed Sydney FC and a Brisbane Raw team, which pretty much just had all the Matildas split across that, and everyone wanted to spend the 3 months at home. So I recall it not being a very balanced league for the first couple of seasons. Brisbane won in the first season, we won the second one. So there was a huge rivalry there. But I don't recall having, to be honest, too much engagement with the actual club itself. I believe they were still run by the federations. It was the member federations, which is great, and really just using the logo and the brand of the actual A-League. And obviously that's changed a lot now. The women's team is a part of the club, and so I think where it is today, it's very far from what it was when we started.
Do you remember the first time somebody approached you about playing for Sydney FC at all, and what happened when?
I don't even think it was a conversation. I'm pretty sure Alan Stadgic just said, I think it was just assumed you'd play for Sydney if you played in New South Wales. And so I think some of the younger team players actually had to go up to the Central Coast, and I remember Michelle Heyman had to go up there and look at her career now. I think Kai Simon maybe went up early and then come back to Sydney, obviously. It was either done by the administration, and I know Alan Stadgic would have just said, this is the team that I want. We had a pretty jam-packed team with Matildas, much like Brisbane. I think one of the challenges back then for a coach is that wanting to create high-performance standards with semi-professional athletes who are working 8 hours a day, paying their rent, and I know that. But we're getting to a better place with that.
You mentioned the semi-professional nature of it. What were the training? Where did the team train? Where was the club at that point?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we'd just trained basically where Alan Stadgic could find a field without venue hire required. I think he was working at potentially a school out west, and we would use fields near the schools, and they're always great pitches, but we moved around a lot. There was a lot of travel. That was normal back then. We were so used to travelling from one side of Sydney to the other, and that changing the following week, and working in a gym here. But I think when we did have a lot of access back then to New South Wales Institute of Sport, so that was actually great to have those kind of access to those high performance requirements. But it was a little bit all over the place.
And obviously lifting the trophies themselves out of that
was
field.
Fun. Yeah. So we won at Shark Park out at Sutherland. That was our first win.
And you have memories personally from that game?
I remember. It was a tough game, and I think Linda O'Neill scored to break the deadlock. I can't remember if that was I just remember the game being on a knife's edge. Letty plays me a ball through. I get one-on-one with the keeper, finish it, and run over to the young ball girl who I reached out to years ago to see if she remembered it. But then the team I feel like that broke open the game, and I believe we scored another goal after that, so that really kind of broke the back of the game. But I don't know, it was, I think I remember it being more relief than excitement in winning it, because we were just expected to. We should be winning those matches. Sydney
FC, over the 20 years history, women's league and men's team have won the most premierships, won the most championships in both. Why do you think Sydney FC have been so successful in that sense?
I think it's hard to, look, I don't want to say that it's not by design. I think it's been a very well-run club. I think when you think about the club structures, the governance, the development, everything around it, it's had a home, and there's a lot of, as I said, the coaching staff, particularly on the women, it's had stability. You can't overlook that 50% of our participation is here in New South Wales, but we also have other A-League clubs here. So there's something that Sydney FC is doing well. it's a club that attracts the best talent. I think you've got to ask the players why they go there. Players like to go to the best clubs, and I think Melbourne City are raising the bar. And but I think it's not one thing; it's many things. But over the year, that consistency, I do think I put it down to leadership. And one of my first interactions with Sydney FC was through the late Stefan Kamaz, and so people like that. Having worked at the club very early days, that was my first interaction, and it was a great one.